Well, hello, Alicia. I am so happy you're here with me tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
You are a recent graduate, but before we even talk about that, let's go back and rewind. I always love to find out from all of you why did you get interested in nutrition? What sparked your love?
Well, I would say it started because I had gut issues growing up. I always dealt with bloating. Didn't know if it was IBS or SIBO or what I was dealing with, but I
Yeah.
had tried everything and it was something that was constantly on my mind. So that already sparked an interest there. And then I went to culinary school and I worked as a chef. So I loved cooking, but I'm like, I can't really eat all these things all the time. They're not that healthy. Like I liked eating them, but I wanted to be cooking things that I could eat all the time.
Yeah.
So it kind of sparked my interest in like, how can I make these just as good, but healthier? And so I wanted to learn more. So I think
Ah.
gaining interest in health and fitness and all that, along with my own personal health, just once it's like hit my mind what I wanted to be, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to be. There was no doubt in my mind. So
Wow. And you know what's really impressive, Miss Alicia, is that while you were going through culinary school, you're like, okay, some of this is not as good for my body because other people who go through culinary school, they're like, okay, whatever I was taught, I'm going forth with it.
right.
But you had that in you that you're like, wait a minute. This is great. This is fun to cook, but you had that you were able to tell.
Yeah, my mom was always into health, so I think it was always built in. And
Got
then as I
it.
got older, I started to appreciate that more, and it was built in. So,
Yeah. Excellent. And then so you realized, okay, I need to become a dietitian on top of being a chef, which, oh my goodness, that is such a great combination. I love that so much. Okay, alrighty. So you have the combination and you decided to move forward okay, into a school. But with all the schools, for nutrition and dietetics, how on earth did you think of Loma Linda University?
so I had a lot of family go to Loma Linda. My grandma, my dad went to the other campus. My grandpa, my great uncle, like a lot of people went to Loma Linda. I was born at Loma Linda. My mom works at Loma Linda. So there's just so many things that pulled me to Loma Linda. I was raised Seventh Day Adventist, so
Neat.
I was used to that, like environment and all that, and vegetarian, like that was all normal stuff for me. So it just
Awesome.
I just always wanted to go there. When I knew they had a program, especially with the having the coordinated clinicals and everything, it was just yeah, or rotations. It was a good option.
Ah, yay. So, in a nutshell, how was your education at Loma Linda? What was your
So
experience
I
like?
think the biggest part about, I mean, school's hard no matter what. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be easy. I think the biggest thing for me was having our professors, you and the other professors, and my classmates that were together the whole way. It's
Yeah.
not like you're in classes with different people every class or quarter. You're with the same group, so you really learn to build like study groups and help each other and learn who you work well with. And then you guys as our professors were there every step of the way and not just cared about like teaching us, you cared about helping us get through it and our faith in God. And that you were huge on that. I mean, everyone
Oh,
when you used to ask for prayer requests and everyone was all quiet in the beginning,
yes.
and then after we got halfway through, everyone had prayer requests because your prayers were powerful and we
Oh,
appreciated them.
praise
And
the Lord.
so I think that was huge, just learning to have like that faith in God through all my classmates and my professors was
Yeah.
probably the best part about the whole thing. You're never alone in the process. So
Yes, and you know, your class was like towards the tail end, your last quarter. That
mhm,
was when the pandemic
right.
hit. And It was like the rug was pulled
Right,
underneath from all of you because you were all expecting to go on rotation.
right.
Oh, man.
That was rough, but we powered
Yeah.
through it, you know.
Yes,
So
you all
at least we
did.
still got to graduate and we had a way to do it and didn't have to just, wait and do nothing. So
That's
it could have been
true.
worse.
You're so right. But we haven't even mentioned that you have gone through school with two little boys
Mhm.
while going to school, being a mom, having two energetic, healthy, good-looking boys. I don't know how you did it, Alicia, because that
Right.
is not easy to do.
I think my youngest was 2 when I started. So
Yes.
not even. He
Right.
wasn't even 2 yet. So yeah, it was fun.
That was a juggling act, I'm sure.
Well, with Adam, my husband, working crazy hours, he was working 80 plus hours. So
Yeah,
you could just take him out of the situation because it really was me with
that's
the two little
true.
ones, and I was just
That's
wanted to make
right.
sure my husband slept and ate. So
Oh, Alicia.
it was
Wow.
hard at first, but I think for me, learning time management was a
Um,
game changer because
mm,
a lot of people say, oh, I over fixate on school and I don't take time away. But I was forced to take family time and separate that from school time because you can't play with your toddler or, do family time and do your homework at the same time. I
mm,
mean,
mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone wants to do homework with a 2 year old sitting right there. So you have to be like,
Right.
this is my time with them. Now time is my homework time. And it actually benefited me, I think, because I was forced to balance things out. So,
And you did it very well. And that is something for a lot of the mothers who are listening. If they're,
mhm,
thinking about going to school with two children, they can just think about what you did and take that advice that that needs to be
right,
separated.
exactly. And yeah, I think that's so important. So it just forced me to do it quicker and it ended up making it better in that sense because I had to. So I separated them well. Time
Yes,
management.
you did.
If you can figure out the time management, then you can get through it.
That is excellent. Excellent advice. Wow. So now you have your degree and then you took your RD exam not too long after graduating. And then what were your thoughts about the future?
So originally I thought, okay, COVID will die out by the time I get my registration and then I'll go work at a hospital or something. And then by the time I got registered, COVID is still a thing right now.
Yeah.
So I had to look into other options. I was looking into jobs, but that would be a little bit of commuting, having my
Right.
kids in daycare 50 to 60 hours a week,
Whew.
paying 1,500 to 2 grand a month in daycare.
Wow.
So I'm like, is it even worth it? So I
Right.
started looking at other options. And so that's when I started looking into maybe being a virtual dietitian, which was my end goal to start a business, but I just
Right.
didn't think I would do it so soon. And so
Yeah.
after talking with you and looking into like business coaches and things like that, I decided I'm like, you know what? This makes so much more sense. If I could make even half of what I would make working somewhere,
Right.
I'm not paying for daycare, it's almost the same income. So I
Ah.
decided to just do it with the help of you and the help
Yay.
of a business coach, Sarah. So I think
Right.
between those things, I felt secure in doing it. And I've been doing it for a few months now and I already have clients. I'm already making some money and it's just been, and my husband's so happy I did it this way because I
Yes.
am able to be home since he's not home very often. So
Perfect.
yeah.
So, what is your niche? What is your specialty? What are the types of clients? What,
Since
yeah.
I've always had, gut
Hmm.
issues, that obviously was weighing on me to do, which
Right.
I couldn't, I was like, which one's the best one? But you and
Right.
other people were like, Alicia, come on, really, what are you passionate
Right.
about?
We're
So I
like,
decided to do, right. So I went with the GI health. I kind of dig into other areas, but GI health is connected to everything. So
That's right.
yeah, it's really fun and I enjoy it so much because even when
Mm,
I don't know something and I go to learn about it, it's so much fun. I'm like, oh, this is so
exactly.
interesting. I'm so glad I took the time to study this and read this.
Right?
article and do the research. So even
Yes.
every part of it is intriguing for me. I would have been bored in another niche for sure.
Yes, so true. And the thing is, because you've experienced GI conditions since you were younger, you're still
Mhm.
young, but even when you were younger,
I mean, it's been 15 years since I
wow.
was right at the end of high school. So I remember being uncomfortable to go out and go to the beach or eat something because I get so bloated. And, it was like something
Yeah.
you shouldn't deal with when you're 16, 17 years old. So,
Right. So you have that extra compassion in addition to passion
right,
for helping those who have these GI issues, GI discomfort. Not only do you know the theoretical part of things,
right.
but you also know the practical and how people could really feel in this. So it just makes you that much more of an effective dietitian. I'm
Yeah, it's
loving
really
it.
nice when you can be on a whole nother level of, empathetic towards someone when you understand it that much. So, and they can feel that and they feel your compassion for them and your desire to help them because it stems from a deep place. And
Yes.
that's why I think it's good to pick a niche that you can obviously relate with.
Right.
Is usually a good way to go. So,
Yes. And again, we need to bring to the forefront that what makes you even more unique and so amazing is your culinary training that goes hand in hand with being a dietitian. So you have a unique gift to offer to the
yeah,
clients that
whenever
you
I ask
serve.
people like, "Oh, what do you want to learn from me?" They're like, "Just more recipes, please." I'm like, "All right, that makes you guys happy. Well, I'll just be posting more recipes."
Right.
That's
Yes.
what people want. So,
Mhm. Yes, and I'm loving that. I'm loving that so much. You are thriving, you are taking off, and it's so nice to see your practice just growing and you are just growing also as a professional and developing your expertise that you've taken on.
yeah,
It's so neat for me as a teacher to see that when one of your students is done with school, has become a registered dietitian, then we see you take off. It's one of the
right.
greatest
I think like a
feelings.
huge part too, if you want to go virtual, it's nice to like find yourself some like I call it my colleagues, like you don't work with other dietitians where you could ask them, but you have dietitian friends or dietitian professors that you can
Yeah.
reach out to when you want another
Right.
opinion because we're
Yeah.
always learning. Like I'm never going to stop learning. So if I
Right.
can ask you or,
Hmm.
some of my classmates or some of the other dietitians that I know, it's nice to be able
Right.
to reach out and brainstorm and get other outlooks on things. And same thing with my coaching group. Like we
Yes.
message on there and there's a bunch of dietitians on there. So I have my colleagues still rather than, I'm
Right.
not in an in-person situation. So
Uh-huh. But you have that great support. And that's what I loved also about the coaching program that I was in because I also had the other ladies to connect with. And
right.
yeah, so that's a blessing. That is wonderful.
Mhm.
And so for you personally, what are your favorite nutrition practices that you're like, okay, for me, this is a must?
Well, I think I'm huge on obviously we all want to have a balanced meal, but colorful. I mean,
Yes,
partially because it's pretty,
of
but
course.
because I know I'm getting lots of different vitamins. And we learned the importance of fiber in school. We learned so much. And as a GI dietitian, I feel
Yeah.
like fiber is just, we know how important it is to nourish our body, but also our gut. So I think drinking lots of fluids and getting a variety of different plant foods is super important. And I do that so much more after going to Loma Linda, especially. You learn so many vegan and vegetarian recipes. So I kind of mix it up, plant-based.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
So
loving that. That is great. You're really practicing what you've learned and preaching. So that's great. That
yep.
is wonderful. Now, is there but either a Bible verse or a favorite saying that you're like, okay, you've always turned to it because it gives you encouragement. It has helped you through your journey.
Well, I think most people know this verse. It's I can do all things that through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13.
Love that.
I I just feel like that one always goes through my head. Like whenever I'm stressed, and like I said, I learned in school to just have faith in God in stressful situations. I learned
Yeah.
that through when you're stressed and feel overwhelmed, that if you just power through it and like don't put too much stress into it, just know if you do the work, it's going to happen. God has a plan. You're here for a reason, you know? And that's kind of how I feel like with that verse. It's always got me through those moments in life where you're like, God, why is this happening? I'm stressing out. And then you're like, okay, I'm not going to stress. He has a plan. I'm just going to do the best I can and it will all work out. So I feel
Mm.
like that's how I feel with that verse.
Oh, I really love that. Just hearing you explain that and share that, that really encourages my heart too. That's a great reminder. Thank you
That's a
so
huge thing I
much.
learned in school from you and my classmates. Like Devaney was huge on that. And
Oh
I just feel
yeah,
like whenever I was overwhelmed, I learned to do that so much better, to just take
it's
a deep breath.
great.
It's God knows what's happening, even if you don't.
So
So,
true. He really, really does. And sometimes I forget and I have to remind myself and dig into those Bible verses to
right,
remind me that calm down, breathe deeply. God's got it. So, yeah.
right.
It's nice that we can continue to remind each other and encourage each other in that. And so, if there was like one piece of advice you would give to mothers, young mothers like you who have young children who are considering, I really need to go back to school or I need to go to school, what piece of advice would you give that young mother just like you?
I would just say if you can do it if you want to do it. Like if you put the
Mm,
effort and you have the motivation, you can do it. It's just about finding that time management, finding a schedule that works for you. I mean, I got my kids ready the night before and I would just wake them up, put their pants on, brush their teeth, and give them breakfast in the car. And like it worked and it was quick. And I was
wow.
living in a townhome at that time. So I had to go up and down like 3 levels every morning.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I got my exercise. But
There you go.
but yeah, just finding things that work that make it quick. And obviously it's nice to have like backup if you have like family, just in case a child is sick or something like that. But in a daycare that you love, because that's
Mhm.
important. You don't want to stress before your kids stress about it. Start them before you start school though, so they can adjust.
There
But
you go.
that was the fun one, when you have a sick kid and you're in class and you're like in the middle of a test and daycare's like, hey, your
Oh.
son's not feeling good. I'm like, can you just wait an hour? I'm just kidding. I'll get back to you in an hour. I'm just kidding. But, yeah.
Wow.
So just having a backup and
There you go.
having a regimen,
Mm,
definitely.
excellent. Very good. Okay, okay, young moms out there listening, remember this excellent advice that Alicia just shared. And you really have truly been a super mom in my eyes, Alicia. You did it so amazingly well. And look where you are now. So,
Yeah, I powered through it. A lot of people said, don't do it when you have kids this young. And I said, but I don't want to sit around and wait. I want to do it. So I knew
yeah.
if I'm going to do this, I just got to put my all into it. Know it's going to be hard sometimes. And you make sure I have backup when I need it. So
Beautiful. So, Alicia, how can the listeners get in touch with you or if they want to see you? Can you please give us your website, your IG handle, or just information like that that you would like to
So
share?
my business name is HealthNet Nutrition Co. So my website's healthnetnutritionco.com. And then I used to be healthnut.mom, and now
Ah,
I'm healthnut.dietitian. I
okay.
changed it when I got registered. So you can find me on there as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, you'll see all my information, pictures of my family and all things.
love
It is my
it.
personal page too, because I just think that's so important.
I
Um,
agree.
when you want people to connect with you and feel like personable with you,
Oh,
which I want my
yeah.
clients to feel. So
Right.
I mix it up.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. So, y'all know who to go to now, and you can get in touch with Alicia. And oh, Alicia, I am so happy that we got to spend this time. I know you're a super busy mom and you're always, juggling this and that. So thank you for
No
squeezing me
problem.
in, having this
It's more about
conversation.
like working around nap times.
Yes,
So I
so
don't have them running
true.
around, Mom, what are you doing?
Aw. Well, I'm so proud of you, all that you've done. You never gave up. And I'm just so proud of your success that you were never ever thinking, okay, I'm going to give up, can't do this anymore. You powered through, you did it with God's help. You're
Mhm.
where you're at now, and you are enjoying the clients that you are
Yes,
serving.
yes.
So may God continue to bless you as you serve your clients and as you continue to seek His will, because I know He's got even more for you in the future.
Thank you. And you as well. You're doing this virtual thing, which has been very nice because you're like ahead of me on it. So I can reach out to you whenever I have any questions. So it's really nice
Yes.
having you.
Yay. We're like colleagues in this niche
Yeah,
and we're
exactly.
helping each other out. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for meeting with me and having me on here.